Welcome to the platform where I talk about everything relevant, topics that resonate, and help you elevate. This is the platform. If you're a new viewer or an occasional viewer, please do subscribe. Your support goes a long way. Thank you. Today's episode is Let There Be Light. More than just words. The inspiration of this episode dates back from the beginning, when God was creating the earth and he used the words, let there be light. So I've already wondered, why did he use the words light? Why didn't he say, let there be glow? Because glow is also the illumination of light, but he specifically used the word light. And ever since pondering upon it, it just made me think about the meaning of the word light. What does light really mean? What does it really represent? And I came up with my own definition of light. So light is anything you can do or use or say to end the tribulation. Light is the solution to all your problems. It is that which, even when summoned, it can truly be seen. Light is a city set upon a hill that cannot be hidden. And at times, light is the savior that you need, and yet you have rejected. So in the beginning, whatever was there, it needed light for it to be pushed away. So what was there in the beginning? So in the beginning of everything, there was chaos. There was a void. There was darkness. There was no order at all. Everything was formless. And that's what God had to eradicate for him to create the desired paradise that he wanted, which is this earth, the universe. So God had to summon light into being. So why light? It's because the presence of light allows you to see that which you do not see. It allows you to create and imagine everything else. The presence of light eradicates our naivety, and it helps us to combat our ignorance. And anything powerful enough to do that is something you really have to know. So the words, let there be light, which were uttered by God in the beginning, were indeed more than just words. If you're looking for the best digital marketing services, look no further than Groovy Graphics. They possess everything you need for you to improve your sales and to grow your revenue. They offer services in web designing, graphic designing, no other way. It's a full digital marketing agency, full suit. So all your needs met right on time. Words do have meaning to the one who understands and is able to use them carefully with the proper articulation and truth. And what is the truth? The truth is that which, when spoken, it can set you free. The truth is anything you can say to summon light into being, and to summon light into being means to speak that which is fundamentally true. And there's nothing better than telling the truth. What else is worth telling if it's not the truth? The words that reflect the truth are the only words worth speaking. So if indeed words carry so much weight, my question for you is, what words are you using daily that affect your reality? Indeed, God could have said, let there be darkness, but that was only going to edify to his chaos, and he was not going to create any order, it was not going to create any light, it was not going to create any solution to the problem that he wanted to solve. So are the words that you're speaking today, are they edifying to your chaos, or they are transforming your life for the better? I'll give you an example of a word. So the word is pakaipa. So pakaipa is a Shona word. It's mostly used in Zimbabwe. So pakaipa means it's tough, So you can ask someone, how are you doing? They'll just say it's tough. You can ask someone, how was work? And they'll just say it's tough. It's a word that can be used for anything and everything. But it's not a good word to use because it edifies the chaos. It aids to your misery, and it does not summon light into being. So there are some words that you ought to refrain from because they can work against you. In the book of 2nd Kings, chapter 4, there's a lady, a Shunammite woman. She had just lost her son, and someone asked her, "How are you doing? Are you all right?" And then she said, "All is well," and I've always wondered, why would someone say that all is well when clearly it isn't well? And I just pondered upon that, and it made me think. And then I said, you know what? I believe in that moment, she knew that there's something in the power of words, that if she said all is well, then indeed all will be well. So let's say she said that all is not well, or that would have been true, but if she said that, that would mean that she would be participating in a reality that she would not like to see, with her son dead, but speaking positively in a negative situation can create the light that we need to erase our current darkness. And she spoke positively in that situation. And at the end of the day, she got a positive outcome, because that is what words can do for you. They can create a reality that you want, because we can also speak light into being. And there are so many situations that we can go through in this lifetime that we won't find pleasing, as mankind is not free from tribulation. But we can choose not to participate in the chaos with the words that we speak. Another example which everyone can possibly relate to is this. So let's say you and your partner, you get into a quarrel. A quarrel represents what God had in the beginning, the situation he had in the beginning with the earth before creating the universe, where there was darkness, chaos, there was void, there was all forms of chaos and tribulation, you know. And in that moment of quarrel, when you aren't getting along with your partner, you need to create the same idea of paradise where both you and your partner can coexist. And that can only happen when light is present. And you can't just be ignorant about the fact that you need light. I'll tell you this, ignorance has never been a friend to mankind. And being ignorant does not erase current realities. It does not create the world that you want, and neither does pretense. So, when you finally admit that you're in chaos, well, that's a good thing, because it shows that you are dissatisfied with the status quo, and you want the current darkness to end, you want the chaos to end, and you want more than what you have now, and you want to see the light. But why do you want the chaos to end? How do you end it? Well, I'll tell you this. You end it by summoning light and speaking it into being. You have to be willing to imagine what the world looks like when you're not in chaos with your partner, and you have to aim for that. So firstly, maybe you have to apologize for doing something that upset them. And then from there, you can start doing everything else that you see your paradise looking like. And make sure that you get the needs of the paradise met on both sides, because we are also in chaos when we don't get our needs met. So perhaps summoning light means you have to speak up a little bit more. You have to speak loud enough for you to create your desired paradise in the same way that God did when he was creating his universe. So you have to be willing to say what's in your mind, and you have to speak it as if it's the only truth that you know. Because the oppressor will always oppress those who don't raise their voices to speak. And it's the snake that bites you that you refuse to push away. And the presence of the oppressor and the presence of the snake edify to your chaos. So, what is the snake? The snake is the archetype representation of darkness. The presence of the snake is what can get you kicked out of paradise. The snake is the father of all lies, and there is no truth when it comes to the snake. Its desire is to create darkness and chaos in a perfect garden. The snake represents utter promiscuity. It is the birth of the original sin. It represents the perfect tempter who has everything to do with disobedience. And that is what you have to protect your paradise. So in order to protect your garden, your God-given paradise, You have to avoid mingling with the snake because its desire is to corrupt the light. So yes, indeed words do have meaning. They can affect feeling, they can alter realities, and they can create a whole new world. So as you continue this week, ask yourself, what tribulation are you facing? Do you want the tribulation to end? How do you summon light into existence in that situation of tribulation? What words are you going to use to summon the light? And I can tell you that there are no better words to use than the words of the one who authored us all, the one who brought everything else into being. And you can find those words in a book called the Bible. It's the best book that I've read, really. And that's a wrap for episode 1. Join me next Thursday for the next episode. This is the platform.